Welcome, I'm Zoe.
I'm Kirsten.
And I'm Lesley, and this is Gosport Grit.
And this is non-party political. It's not a moan-fest, it's not gossip. This is about pride, setting aspiration and Gosport deserving better. So I'm really proud to be part of this. I don't know about both of you, but we are an all-female cast, and I think it's only right to also mention Annalise of 22 Midnight.
Absolutely.
That is also helping us behind the scenes. So a big shout out. It's fantastic to be part of this. So you're up for quickfire today, Kirsten?
Go for it.
Okay. So in the morning, coffee or chaos?
Coffee, but it's decaf.
A secret food combo you love?
Peanut butter, banana and crispy onions. We won't go into detail. Next.
I heard you go, it was the onions. I'm not too sure crispy onions there,
it.
but there you go. What would be your warning label?
Don't make me hungry. Don't make me hangry.
An irrational fear?
Parking next to a drain because I'm just going to drop everything out my pocket.
Okay.
Into the drain.
Into the drain. I saw some car keys go whoops right into the drain once, and that's
Do you like the visuals?
Yeah.
Favourite memory of Gosport?
Soul Stomach Day in HMS Sultan, where the kids came in and played with engineering materials. Great day. Really respectful, lovely.
And who inspires you?
Too many to say. So many great women in Gosport, actually. So yeah, too many to mention. Wow. Everybody.
It's about enriching your life, isn't it? I think you
Absolutely,
can
yeah.
enrich with people. Morning or evening?
Oh, definitely evening. I don't like mornings.
We heard from you. You're a morning person.
Well, I am in the minority.
And we have wine, and I think it's we have you had your warning label of don't give you wine, so we may have to hold you to that. But it is the afternoon, so it's really nice to sit and chat with you.
Can I just say it's 5 o'clock somewhere?
Well, it's not far off now, is it? So that's fine.
So our show, like we said, is a series of episodes and changing the narrative. And today we're going to talk about leadership. So there's some questions I sort of want to ask of both of you. And first of all, I suppose, what does leadership look like? Thinking about informal, formal, politics, community, professional. Kirsten?
I think it should be guiding people in the right direction fairly, to be honest. But some people might have it a bit different. But
I think it's leading by example.
Yeah.
I think it really is. It's about thinking what you say before you speak. And it's about being open and transparent. If you stand above the parapet, you've got to be confident in your moral compass. It's got to be correct. You've got to want the best for your town. And also it's the ability to take on sort of feedback, listen to people. I think it's actually, to being a leader is a very big question, isn't it? What is leadership?
It is. And to lead individuals, you don't have to have the title. And we think when we talk about leadership, we sometimes talk about management and leadership, which is telling people, following process, where to me leadership can be any individual, doesn't have to be the title, but actually is passionate, driven, brings people with them. And moral compass. So let's talk about moral compass and ethics. And we started to talk about why we were here at the last episode and what I suppose came to a head of the last the extraordinary council meeting in January. We all are supposed to live what's known as the Nolan principles of public life. I think for me, it's worth saying that they're 30 years old. So I think there does need to be some update on what those principles are. But do you think in local politics, let's talk about Gosport specifically, do we uphold or hold people accountable to Nolan principles or public life?
that's the one. I would say no.
So I think the challenge is that currently, nationally we see people not perhaps having the correct moral compass. It's what we see, whether they do or don't, publicly. I think the public feel that they're let down by the leaders and the people they've put into positions to act on their behalf. And unfortunately, some of the trickle down is we also see that locally. And I think the thing that's really important that people don't remember is everything we do as local councillors to represent local communities, it's very transparent now. So things that maybe would have happened 30 years ago, 50 years ago, rightly, we live transparent lives. And I think as a country, perhaps, I'll ask you guys, do you think there's a lack of trust in leadership? Do you think we need to own the fact that we are councillors, we are in positions where people expect us to conduct ourselves in a correct and sort of respectful manner to everybody?
Absolutely. You need to be able to, I've said it in my speech at a previous meeting, you need to be able to look yourself in the face in the mirror and look your community in the face. And if you can't trust your own morals and have your own guidance, then what are you presenting to the public? So,
So someone has said to me, most people that get into politics are driven by wanting to make a difference for the correct reasons. And I think we could collectively say that that is the majority. We're all just led by different ideologies, I suppose. I haven't felt that locally. I've felt that actually we've strayed into most probably a very toxic environment. And that's really difficult because I said it briefly on our last episode. We underestimate the impact we have on others and that ripple effect. So if we talk about negativity all the time, I talked about the I Spy scenario of seeing a red car all the time. So it is up to us and to understand that impact we have on others and how we inspire individuals or turn off individuals. And I think that's it. Do you think leadership is earned or is it through experience, Lesley?
I think the default is to respect people, but I do, in my own experience, I think it has to be earned. So, yeah, how can I articulate this? You respect the office. So if somebody's in a position, maybe a councillor or anyone, you respect the office they're in, but actually equally as the councillor or even the Prime Minister, you respect the fact that people have put you into that position. And there's a lot of responsibility, whatever level of governance you're in. Respect is, I think, like I say, is kind of almost, you respect people in their office, but there's also that expectation that you're in that office representing your community, that you should also earn that respect and that leadership because they put you there. Now we want you to deliver. And then people want you to stand up and they want to. And it is hard sometimes when you're dealing with quite, I wouldn't say aggressive, but some very intimidating behaviour sometimes, both in the chamber and outside. It can be very difficult to even almost know how to deal with it. But you have to deal with it. And it is hard, and it's taking a deep breath. It's putting your shoulders back, putting your big girl's pants on and getting on with it. And I think you get respect from the community for doing that because actually, ultimately, we're not just standing up for ourselves as an individual, but we're standing up for our community and saying, as our community, we're not going to tolerate this behaviour. On behalf of my community, this is unacceptable behaviour and it has to change.
do you think leadership isn't just about doing everything yourself though and telling people what to do?
100%.
Leadership should be about accepting there are other people with knowledge and you should let them take control of their situation and help guide you. So it's a two-way street. So you maybe, you all work together and it's understanding the position of being leadership is also accepting others into the role
and remaining humble.
Yeah. And that's almost why we're sat here. I think we respect each other. And like we said, this isn't about party colours. It's about
each one of us brings something different to the table.
So with all of that in mind, now let's talk about what we think. What is best leadership? What have you experienced as your best leadership in your career?
I think I've had a few jobs. Great variety actually, and I've enjoyed all of them, but one of my favourite memories was my manager, who was so fun. We could always get on with our work, have fun, talk about anything, and he was actually the funniest one of the team. But if there was ever an inquiry or a work question, it would be straight to business, answer completely, and we would deal with the situation and then move on. back to having fun. So it was a pleasure to go to work every day. I miss those days, actually. Very light-hearted, but really professional at the same time.
Yeah.
I think for me, there's a number of leaders that I remember, that the ones that stick with me are the people who actually cared about their team, showed an interest in them, showed an interest in their personal lives, and you felt safe when they were firm but fair. And very often, if you'd done something wrong, you would arrive at that conclusion by them asking you how you thought things went. But the main thing for me as a leader should care about their team, and in our position, care about our community, but also be receptive to listening to the community. Sometimes I think we tend to think we know what's best for our community, whereas actually the community probably are a bit like a doctor with a patient. The patient can tell you what's wrong with them, and our community can tell us what needs fixing in Gosport, and that I think is what is good leadership.
Yeah.
I've had quite a few opportunities over the last few years to go and work alongside different departments. So I've gone out for a day with Street Scene.
Yeah.
Around the car parks, looking how they operate the number plates, etc., for the timings. I've spent a day in the Wild Grounds with the volunteers, bashing holly and chopping all day, and just a day, 2 shifts out with the police. And then if you put yourself in them shoes, so any leader as well, if they put themselves in their shoes and they know what they're expecting from you, then they can help guide you better.
So one foot in your shoe and one foot in the community shoe.
Absolutely. And it's been brilliant. And the relationship with the team always feels so much better because you're being part of it.
And you're valuing and you understand their role.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make decisions, you have to understand the experience
and the challenges.
Yeah, I mean, so last week I changed county council roles. I became exec lead for adult social care, and I've spent time with the team, and not just looking at things on a bit of paper. I then came out and then did some visits out in social care environments to really understand. And if you're looking at solving problems or looking at challenges or understanding people to help them make solutions, you have to do that. Sit in with them, 1 foot in their shoe, really understand it. For me, in leadership, and definitely the space that we're moving into at the moment, is one, what does transparency look like? And some education has taught me this, and being a teacher for 24 years, sometimes you don't know everything.
No,
and it's
absolutely.
okay to go, I don't know, I will get back to you. And I think sometimes in local politics we don't do that. It's, we definitely then end up someone.
Nobody can have a knowledge of everything.
No, you can't. And the other one is being authentic. And I think COVID sometimes taught that, because being in front of a screen, we suddenly saw people in their normal environments, in their home environment. So suddenly we didn't have that split between professional. But actually it goes back to what you were saying about your leader earlier on. It's you can still be authentic yourself, listen, understand your team, and still have the parameters of being professional. When we talk about Gosport, what I want to sort of bring into it at the moment is, how do we translate that in inspiring the next generation, or making sure we have community leaders, so not just talking about politics. So do we think people are cautious about stepping forward, and how do we remove that, Lesley?
I think people are cautious because, unfortunately, because the world we live in, a lot of it's online, and they see the narrative. They see that, if you put your head above the parapet, you see that people get attacked personally. And I think people can feel very intimidated by that, very, very uncomfortable with that, and not willing. Whereas obviously pre-internet, pre-social media, the people that you only spoke to, the people you knew, and they actually knew a true reflection of what you did and who you were. So I think it's quite a challenging landscape. But actually, if you've got the right team around you and you believe in what you're doing, I think everybody has that ability to be a community leader.
I saw a great little clip today about it was school children actually, and if people find somebody who's quite difficult, and they said it's a 2-minute challenge. Every day for 10 days, just spend 2 minutes talking to that person. So if their manager talks to a member of the team, 2 minutes every day, not about the the task in hand, but just
that
about
love.
getting to know them. Then the team feel valued and they understand the person a bit more, because not everybody is the same. You can't micromanage everyone to the same tools. So just getting to know your team as well is...
Yeah. And what I found in leadership, and I sort of started this episode by saying it, that you don't have to have the title and be at the top of the triangle to be a leader.
No.
Actually, you can have all those little leaders underneath that take on a project or look at a specific community, drive something forward because that's where their passion is. And I think if we were to move some barriers, people don't have to feel that they have to stick their head above the parapet and be at the top of the triangle, because we all do that. Yes. And that's really risky, and it goes back to exposing yourself, and that's challenging.
And I think, sorry, you've made me think of something then. You're absolutely right. As a leader, whether it's a council or whether it's a rugby team, it's about knowing where your strengths are in your team and using those strengths, one, for the greater good of the team, but also to help those people in your team feel valued and respected. If you put me in charge of numbers, I'll be running out the back door. But if you put me in charge of, I don't know, if you put me in charge of talking and listening to people and caring to people, that's my strength. So it's about, as a leader, recognise those strengths. And the other thing is, as a leader, it's about not micromanaging. It's about trusting your team, isn't it?
So we've talked about a lot about good leadership and what is leadership and challenges of taking barriers away. One good trait of leadership is self-awareness. And one thing I suppose that I would like to develop, or maybe a weakness I have in my leadership, is actually self-doubt. And that's really difficult because people don't tend to see that. And I think as I've got older, that tends to get worse. I tend to overthink things sometimes, and create scenarios in my head, which can be quite distracting. So yeah, I think I would... my self-talk needs to be in the positive person. It sometimes isn't.
So
negative.
talk to yourself how you would talk to your friend. You wouldn't talk to your friend how you internalise. Have a healthy relationship with yourself.
Indeed.
So I've immediately gone into problem solving. So my problem is sometimes I don't actively listen. So if I'm speaking to somebody and they're showing concern or an issue, my head's racing. We need to do this, we need to be that. Instead of actively listening, because sometimes people just want you to listen. So instead of my mind racing, to actually just sit in that moment and actually listen to what they're telling me. What are those messages? What do they need me to do? Even if it is just to listen. That's something I could improve.
And I think mine's trying to fix everything. I meet so many people. Obviously, this role has been quite intense over the last year. So you listen to everybody, but you want to have a solution straight away. So just take time and find the right people to help you. So
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah,
because we're fixers, aren't we, by our very nature? But you can't fix
sometimes
everybody.
you can't fix it. You just need to give them little hints of the best way forward. So
and people can become authors of their own destiny, as opposed, because you have to enable people.
And build that toolkit. So talking about toolkits, leadership can be lonely, it can be hard. What motivates you on a tough day, Kirsten?
Knowing that you can make a difference and you can turn people's day around. You can turn your own day around by turning other people's day around. So
Lesley?
Oh gosh, what motivates you? Some days are really hard, actually. I don't know about you girls, but some days I have to take myself away from Gosport, stay away. I think probably it's in my nature. Maybe it's not going to childhood, but by my very nature, it's about helping people. So it's just something in my DNA. If you cut me in half like an oak tree, every ring would say help people. So, but the way I keep motivated is by occasionally taking that day off away from Gosport where I don't have to
take time for
feel
yourself.
like I've got to help people.
Mine's very similar. I love a pyjama day. And just no noise. And when I say no noise, sometimes we have a lot of stuff and noise in our head from people and meetings and things we have to do. And what I've learned throughout my career is accepting some days that you're not going to achieve very much. because
Yes.
otherwise I sit there with a very long list getting rather frustrated. And actually, if I was accepted that I'm only going to achieve 2 of those at the beginning of the day, actually my day would have got better other than trying to do the 10 or 20 on my list. So
That's where you need a good tune in your ears. Turn everything else off and have a good tune.
And I think it goes without saying, family and friends, I'm so enriched and lucky with my life, and also to have
Dogs.
the 2 of you
Yeah.
and dogs, indeed. So we'd love to hear from you. Themes that you want us to talk about, or maybe stories that you want us to explore, and questions that you may have from us. This is Gosport Grit. This is about pride and aspiration.